Hey everybody, back again. Like I stated in a video I just did a moment ago about how to keep these tablets from going to sleep. If you'd like to see that video, I'll put a link over here at the bottom. But this video, I've had people ask, how do you get the cover off the back of a Nextbook 10.1? I don't necessarily have the best way of doing it, but I'll show the way that I do it, and you can use whatever tools you have available. One problem is you can see right here it kind of mars up the edges a little bit the way that I do it. So if you can find a little bit better tool, you won't have to deal with that probably. The important parts to look out for are right here at the bottom. These are the only parts that actually go through this plastic piece, and you'll see when I take it apart, or I might be able to show right here, you can see where that one piece is already cracked right there, where I was having trouble putting it back together. So that's just something to kind of watch out for. So with that aside, I'm going to try to show you how I do this. I find it best to kind of start on a corner here on one side, as close as you can get to the corner as possible. And my method of getting it off is just a regular pocket knife. So you can see right here where the metal part meets the plastic, and you can already see where I've taken it apart several times, that it's got that little separation in there. The first time you do it, it's going to be a little bit tough, so just take your time, be easy with it, and you shouldn't have very many problems. So I just put my knife right there in the edge, and I get it as flat as I can and just twist. I'm just twisting a knife, and you can see it's already starting to separate there. So I'm just going to work my way around, and I'm going from this bottom edge, starting at the bottom and working my way up to the top. I want to work all the way around until I get back to this corner, and then I can kind of manually do it by hand, and then try to pull this cover down away from those parts that stick through the plastic. So I just work my way around. Now in the corners, if you're not careful, like you can see here, they'll crack. So when you get to a corner and you kind of get it broke loose a little bit, don't try to pry directly on a corner. That's how that'll crack. You just go on around, bypass the corner, and start again. Sometimes it's going to be a little tight to get into. You just got to give it a good little loving nudge. Work your way around. Now when you get to the buttons at the top, my first thought was other electronics that I've dealt with, that as soon as you do this, the buttons are going to fall out. That's not the case with this. The buttons are attached to the plastic case, which I'll show you when I get that far, or get the back completely off. So I just got to this corner, so I'm going to skip around over here to the other side. And I think this is probably about the easiest side because of all the connections. And when you hear that little popping sound, that's where it snaps onto the metal part. So when you hear it snap like that, you know that you're doing it right. So here I go again. Got to a corner, skip the corner itself, back to the flat part. Get my blade in there. And I'm all the way back around to here. So now I'm going to try to pull the tablet away from the back and kind of lift at the same time. And there we go. There we have the covers removed. And this is the plug-in right here that disconnects the battery from the tablet. This is how you fix it when it doesn't want to come on even though it's got a full charge. I'll put a link to that right here on in the video corner so you can watch that if you need to, or if you're experiencing that problem. So I'm going to set the, actually I'll show you this before I set it down. The buttons right here, actually it's the other way. This is how the buttons are arranged. You have the power, volume up, volume down, and the Windows key. Those coordinate with these little silver dots here, the power, volume up, down, and the Windows button. So I'll set that down here to the side. And when I told you it was attached, there's little pins that kind of hold these in place to keep them from coming out. And yeah, right here is where I kind of snapped it, getting a little overzealous. But that was also the first time I didn't really know what I was getting into. But I mean, it's a pretty simple process to get the cover off. And I'll go ahead and show you how to put it back on. So this time I'm just going to do everything in exact reverse. See the little keyboard connection here and the two little slots that the keyboard mounts into. I'm going to start on this side, place the cover over but a little bit offset, and I'm going to try to line these up as best as I can and start putting the bottom in. If it takes a minute, it's alright. And I have it pretty well lined up. Now every time I do this, that little part that broke off or snapped, it's hard to get back in there sometimes. Once you get it lined up and everything's flush, you just go back around and kind of pinch it together. And you'll hear it snap back into place. And I should have remembered this to start with. If you have the SD card inserted in it, make sure you remove it prior to removing or trying to put this case on, or take the cover off of it. I had to pop this back off a little bit. Okay, the card just shot out at me. But yeah, make sure you remove that card or you will have difficulty getting this off or putting it back on. You can see it just snaps right back in. And I'm back where I started from. And just do a final check, make sure everything's popped into place. Check for any gaps or anything. And once you're satisfied with it, give your buttons up here a test and make sure they have that little popping feel to them. That shows that they're aligned properly back in place, that nothing got kinked up or messed up in the way or in the process of putting this stuff back together. Okay, well, I think that pretty much covers it. This video is getting long enough as it is. That's why I do this kind of separate. That and people have been asking exactly how you get it off. So yeah, I just recommend, if you have tools better than just a standard pocket knife, use those instead, and just take your time. So I hope that answers everybody's questions, and have a great day. Be sure to thumbs up, subscribe if you find this information useful, and share it with your friends. Other people out in the communities might need information like this or want information like this so they can take care of their own stuff. All right. Have a great day then. Bye.